Welcome. My name is Rachel Simpson, and thank you for being with me today. In my life, I work as a physician, and as I was contemplating the theme for our election vigil together, the phrase unity really stuck out and spoke to me. As a physician in my daily life, I have the opportunity to be with people at some of the most vulnerable moments in their lives. And it's in these moments that no matter whether it's a joyful moment or a sad moment or even one that is utterly devastating, I've had the opportunity to see that time and again, what comes forth, what people choose to express in that moment is a deep love, a kindness, and a generosity of spirit that is above and beyond anything that I could have ever anticipated. It's in these moments that I am deeply humbled and moved, and it restores my faith in humanity. What makes these so remarkable for me is that they're not the rarity, they're not the exception. In these moments of deep vulnerability, more times than not, what people choose to express is that love, is that caring, is that generosity of spirit, that connection of being together. And I often think to myself, wow, if other people could see what I see, if other people could move in this world and see that it doesn't matter where we come from, what our family looks like, what our background is, or where we call home or our favorite sports team. At the end of the day, in those moments, that same love, that same compassion, that same kindness, and that same generosity moves forth and becomes expressed. It is in these moments that I connect so deeply with the sense of unity, with the sense that really we are all one, whether we know it or not. And so as I contemplated what I wanted to bring in my time here with you today, I knew that I wanted to bring with me, with you, with us together, an experience of these moments, an experience of what it is to be a witness to this kind of love, and to have that knowingness that we each have that capacity, that we each have that love and that generosity within us, to have that be what you're left with as we move into this election day. Before I begin the meditation, I will say that for privacy reasons, I'm not using specific examples of individuals in specific scenarios. So if there's anything that you see and hear that sounds familiar to you, it probably is more because we're all so very human, and there are so many of these kinds of experiences that we all have witnessed in one way or another. But these are not based on true single individual events, but give you the flavor of what it's like to walk through the hospital and to be in this role and to witness people in these moments. So with that, I invite you to close your eyes, to move within. I invite you to bring your awareness into your body. Allow yourself to fully arrive and be present in this space. Allow anything from the day, from the week, from the moments before. Allow it to fall away. And in this moment, I invite you to bring that awareness to the breath. Feeling that breath moving in and out, the lungs expanding and relaxing. Allow this breath to move and allow it to soothe the mind and bring yourself into a state of calm, a state of relaxation. A moment of being present together. And in this moment, I invite you to imagine that you're standing in the middle of an emergency room. Fluorescent lights overhead, well-cleaned linoleum floor underneath your feet. And around you is all the hustle, the bustle, the movement, the seeming chaos of an emergency room, filled with people. Nurses moving, taking blood, giving medications, patients on stretchers, doctors moving from room to room, the janitors cleaning the space between patients, the pharmacist preparing medications. And in all of this hustle and bustle, I invite you to walk with me, not as a patient, but as an observer, as we move through this space and bear witness to humanity. As we walk to the first room, we see an old woman, deep in the end stages of dementia. She doesn't know where she is. She doesn't know her own name. And her adult daughter is there with her, holding her hand, patting it. And even though this woman might not even know who she is anymore, she's comforted by her presence. She looks to her as the daughter tells you why they're here, what happened to bring them to the emergency room that day. And you see this selfless love as she holds the hand of her poor demented mother and comforts her and cares for her and allows her to be calm so that we can serve her today in whatever way she needs. As we move to the next room, we find a young couple, tense, anxious. She's pregnant and she's been having stomach cramps all day. And she's worried that something might be wrong. And we see them holding each other's hands, pressing close together, holding each other up, even though they're both clearly in a state of fear. And we see, as we arrive, we're just in time to be there as the obstetrician is telling them that everything's okay. And her pregnancy's fine, and she's going to be okay. And we watch the relief on their faces as they come together and embrace, holding each other in that deeply vulnerable moment and being there, supporting one another. As we step out of this room and prepare to move on, we hear bells go off overhead, signaling an emergency. And quickly we follow the rush of people to the door where a couple is being brought in, 2 people, in a car crash, and one of them's bleeding. Immediately, tens of people arrive and go to work, moving each in their own role, helping this person, stabilizing that one, coming together to give them everything that they need to have that chance of life. The trauma team arrives and start to move them into the bay where they're going to be cared for and stabilized. In that moment, we see the blood bank specialist running up with a cooler filled with blood, emergency blood, there to save the life of the person who's bleeding. And in that moment, I think back to a few weeks ago when I went to donate blood and the people I saw there, their generosity, all different walks of life, all different colors of people, was there, offering this gift of blood, this gift of life. Now here, saving the life of a total stranger in an accident that a few weeks ago no one could have predicted. And I'm grateful to those people in that moment, to every one of them, and how their generosity of spirit might just save this life, help make it possible for them to live another day. The trauma team begins to stabilize the patient and moves them back to another part of the hospital for further care. And in that moment, we turn, and I invite you to just gaze around the room, gaze around this emergency room, and see the people moving, all different reasons for being there. Maybe they work there. Maybe they're there as a patient. Maybe they're there with a family member or loved one. But all there. And in the midst of this place of unexpected tragedy or unexpected concern, we find this deep and incredible love. The families caring for each other. The nurses who are there hour after hour, calmly and patiently explaining, helping people, getting them what they need, helping them to the bathroom. Even something that seems so small in our everyday life can be so critical if you're not feeling well. We see the doctors there shift after shift, tirelessly working, caring for the patients, caring for the nurses, caring for one another. And we see, what I see in this space is that while there may be chaos, and while there may be tragedy and the unexpected, in those moments of vulnerability are an opportunity to step deep into that space of love, that space of kindness, that space of generosity of spirit. I invite you to move into that in your heart, to move into that space of the daughter caring for her mother, the young couple holding each other, loving each other in their moments of fear, and the total strangers giving their blood to save the life of another. I invite you to welcome in this love, this generosity, this caring. Perhaps there's a moment in your life where you experience the love, the kindness of another person, and you remember that warmth, that life-touching life. I invite you to step fully into the space in yourself. I find when I move into the space of love, it is like being in the eye of a storm. Whenever there is chaos, I can come back to this centered space within myself. This love, this generosity of spirit, the unity that arises when we see that in one another. Breathe in that love. And I invite you to welcome it fully within yourself. Staying in that state, when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and look around the room that you're in, seeing the world through the eyes of love, through the eyes of compassion, of generosity of spirit. And I invite you on this election day to look around and to see each person through that lens, through the eyes of love. And I invite you to try on that this love, this generosity of spirit, this compassion, this kindness for one another is present in every single human being that you see today. I invite you to try this on and to step into it as you move into your day today. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I honor that light in you, and I honor that light in me, the unity that is there within us at each moment. Om Shri Sema. Namaste. Pax Vobiscum. Thank you.